Also, you can't give things to people who don't take care of their own property.
All I got is my boss and my word and my intuition. I see billions through these lenses, big business and boss decisions.
Billionaire's mentality. I was having lunch with a millionaire friend. We were comparing schedules, and I told him I had to hit the mall, see my jeweler, and get ready for the studio. He pointed out that I seemed committed to spending more money than making money. He said he would start each morning with breakfast, stretching, exercise, and thinking of ways that he could make more money versus spend more money. He broke down his strategy when it came to his monthly bills. If he had $50K in bills per month, he'd be determined to make $1,700 per day to cover his bills. Anything else was extra. Straight talk. Some are terrified of people, places, things, or situations, while others acknowledge and accept the danger of that fear without recourse. Take a person who is deathly afraid of sharks, while another person will swim in a vast ocean of great whites. You'll find similar situations in just about everything from fear of guns to fear of heights. Consider the Buddhist monk who set himself on fire. He had to reach a pinnacle level of non-existent fear. His mind had to override the pain of being burned alive. While an extreme example, I felt the need to use this to exemplify the true power of the mind. How many times have you stubbed your toe, hit your elbow, or had a fast jolting pain in an area of your body? What was your reaction? Was there an outburst? Did you feel that pain? I remember accidentally shooting myself after an argument with my brother over money and disrespect. I pulled my gun, attempting to shoot him. You may be asking yourself, how could you do that? Just know that disrespect isn't tolerated in the hood, regardless of blood relations or not. This is a direct test of a man's ego and manhood, which must be addressed and checked by any means necessary, even if it means losing your life. I couldn't sleep at night knowing I allowed someone to disrespect me, whether verbally or physically. Disrespect in any form is unacceptable. I remember telling my mother that I was going to shoot my brother for his disrespect. I told her I wasn't going to kill him, though he had to learn a lesson. My mentality was geared toward protecting a false image of self-respect and what we dreamed of as manhood. It all happened when I finally saw my brother driving up White Hill Street after leaving the car wash. Words were exchanged, guns were drawn, followed by a high-speed chase through the streets of the east side. I fired shot after shot with my left hand as I trailed his car while trying to catch him, to no avail. Once I snapped out of my rage, I came to my senses and slowed the car down, still driving while attempting to decock the P-89 Ruger. The hammer slipped, the gun went off. All I remember was the smoke rising from the top of my shoe. The burning from the misguided slug was extremely painful. It felt as if someone had poured hot lava on my foot. I had to use a tactic we call psyching yourself out in order to calm down the intense throbbing. To my surprise, it was working, until I had to move or put pressure on my foot on my way to the hospital. It's ironic that my brother, whom I was shooting at, had to come pick me up and take me to the hospital. This situation had gone too far. At this moment, I realized how stupid this entire incident was. My fear of being disrespected almost made me kill my brother. Aside from the tons of regret, this taught me an important skill: how to use my mind to push past the pain. I would later apply this to various situations throughout my life, from overcoming obstacles in business to heartbreak or physical pain. Most survivors build a high level of tolerance for pain due to overcoming the most arduous situations. As a hustler, it's key to use your mind to acknowledge the fear of whatever task lies ahead. Then accept that fear even if the danger is still present. Remember, it's all about how you train your mind to respond to the fear that arises. Bag it up. Our senses are natural receivers, highly adapted to our mental and physical environment. What we see, taste, touch, hear, and smell are processed for mental interpretation, where everything received initially is seen as a threat to self-preservation until we reason it's not harmful. Pain hurts both physically and emotionally. We remember what caused us to suffer. We tend to avoid painful memories, on high alert for anything perceived as a potential threat. It's between the gaps of painful memories and the space between future threats where we invent fear. Past experience can keep us on guard for the future, allowing for missed opportunities. The problem is that our past hazards rely on selective memories and our future perils rely on imagination. Both past and future are products of the mind, just as your imagination and your memories are. How little we remember and so much we fabricate. Fear of losing property, valuables, reputation, our youth, etc. is debilitating. It interferes with progress, advancement, advantages, esteem, and performance. It can be stated a failure to recall does not mean it didn't happen. The actual pain and trauma, yes. But what happened to the fear? It disappears as an illusion, like the fear of being fired after actually getting fired, or the fear of losing money once your stock investment has plummeted, the fear of your Ferrari getting stolen when it already had been stolen. Fear does not exist before, just like it does not afterwards. Your mind makes it real. A threat can be real, no doubt, but fear will drive you insane. Moving forward, your fear is the deciding factor to change or remain isolated inside a mental prison that you have created for yourself. Right now, you can turn that fear into the hustler's aggression that's needed to be your driving force to get shit done in life. Create distance between yourself and the fear of being in harm's way, whether it is poverty, debt, drama, failure, heartbreak, or any emotion that is triggered by you not being the best version of yourself. Normalize turning on the light in the spooky dark basement that you are so afraid to go down. It's all in your mind. As soon as the light comes on, you realize nothing is there. Knowing who you are and what you are capable of helps you face your fears head on. There is another side to fear associated with hustling. Example, how many of us are generous, kind-hearted, etc.? These type of people tend to be taken advantage of, therefore giving them the mentality of, I'm no longer helping anyone. That's self-sabotaging to a hustler's grind. I call this being game conscious, where a hustler would pass up on a great opportunity from being fearful of losing out or getting ripped off like before. Note, do not carry your last deal over to your current or future deals. Doing this will already set the energy of the deal. Be precautious, though not game conscious. Never lead with fear. If you fear a deal, you shouldn't be doing it. It's a fact that fear decreases any chances of executing a task with confidence. Chapter 3. Aggression. The timid get intimidated. Intimidation is for the timid. A hustler's aggression is the raw energy behind thoughts, words, and actions prompting you to perform assertively. It is a hustler's power punch to knock out obstacles blocking accomplishments. Without a hustler's aggression, you won't be fully capable of protecting what matters to you the most: honor, respect, tradition, livelihood, family, anything that you value. Be aware of other attributes of aggression: intelligent aggression and flawed aggression. Flawed aggression is counterproductive, selfish, or for the most part, self-defeating. Intelligent aggression is goal-oriented, more concerned about the group or team succeeding than just him or herself. A hustler who practices intelligent aggression does it with confidence.
Call it progression, fuck a recession. Getting money, dog, is how I channel my aggression.
Raw and uncut. My middle-class neighborhood had turned into a slum. I was too entrenched in contributing to its demise to even have seen what was occurring right before my eyes. I was busy setting up shop in willing tenants' homes or vacant houses. When one drug house mysteriously caught on fire, we'd go to the next one on that block. Eventually, an entire street was a pile of rubble and ashes. It reflected my mentality. Mean mugs and cold stares on every street. Bullet holes in street signs. Dead people's shoes hanging from electric lines. Gunshots heard throughout the day and night, followed by EMS and police sirens. The mere mention of outsiders coming to our neighborhood and setting up shop on the real estate we claimed, East 7 Mile, It was an act of war where we would evoke the Second Amendment to shut that shit down. No one ever had to convince one another. The attitude came with the turf.
Trying to bring a million home, plus minus the conflict, the nonsense. Made me a convict. My conscience made money my topic. A presidential nigga with politics. I see way past the block shit.
Good, bad, and the ugly. As soon as the prison gates opened, my children's mother was in the parking lot waiting for me in a used Ford Explorer. It was an eyesore. I always had her driving up-to-date cars. Immediately, the pressure was on. I didn't report straight to the parole office. I had her take me to my old neighborhood to touch base with my associates. I could see it was tight for everyone, a total contrast to what I believed in prison. My guys were all trying to come up with a plan to make a lot of money. They looked to me to put things back together despite my just returning to society after serving 4 years. More pressure. Later that night, my guys took me to a familiar club. As soon as I stepped inside, I received hugs and handshakes from people I knew one way or another. The DJ gave me a shout-out, mixed and played some of my music. Bottles were sent to my booth by former associates and hustlers. Dancers rushed to our booth giving me welcome back lap dances. It was hard for me to enjoy the moment. Deep down, I knew I really wasn't living up to the praise. The night ended in an emergency room with staples in the back of my head from mixing lean, alcohol, and smoking, resulting in me passing out and hitting my head from falling.
We understood what life means. That's why we share the good that life brings. Let nothing come between this thing of ours. If so, bring flowers. We shower them cowards.
Good. My brother and I were driving back from picking up a serious bag. It was a typical 9-to-5 Detroit afternoon. We watched for any opposition that would prevent us from reaching our goal. Really, our concerns were more about driving the speed limit and making roughly $80K off of this flip than being nervous about getting stopped by the police.
We run it up just to fuck it up. Fuck rap, nigga, we trap niggas. Thumbs hurting from the paper cuts, keep the pole on me just to clap niggas. Them bricks coming, they stamp, nigga. I'm stamped all around the map, nigga. Work the heavy bag, I'm the champ, nigga. Bigger than rap, facts, nigga.
The bad. I received a call from my son's mother while driving. No hello, how are you, be safe. She started off with bullshit. The argument had gotten so intense that I took the next exit to make a U-turn.
I know somehow, some way, niggas gotta make it out the game one day. My nigga just survived 2 shots with a K. We prayed, I guess that prayer brought my nigga home safe. But fuck that, I would've rather he died. Cause after that the judge hit my nigga with life. And all he wanted to be was a soldier, a soldier. All he wanted to be was a soldier like me.
The ugly. The phone call left me distracted, ignoring any traffic laws. Whatever my brother was saying to me flew straight out the car window. All I could see was red with a definite sound of rage. The thought that if we get caught, it's a life sentence was tossed around in the back seat with the bag of drugs. The closer I got to my child's mother's house, the more callous I became and less concerned about the business or our freedom. I didn't know what I was going to do when I got there. She really knew how to push my buttons. I was ready to risk it all to prove a point that was pointless. Straight talk. We associate aggression with primarily anger. Rarely do we classify an ambitious person closing a deal as aggressive. Now let's change your train of thought. A hustler's aggression is expressed in their passion for their hustle or trade. It can be their excitement to create, execute, or close that deal. It is their creative energy turned up to the max. As for myself, I get turned up every time I'm working on a project. I normally only sign on to projects that inspire or motivate me, especially when I'm in the studio recording a song. Once I vibe with the beat, my hustler's aggression kicks in to help me dig deep in my mind for the best bars. During a session with a multi-platinum artist who was a good friend of mine, we were searching for the right beat to record on. He schooled me. He said if the beat doesn't catch your attention within the first 3 seconds, move on to the next one. I adopted this practice and it's stuck with me ever since. I began to apply this same approach to business ventures and ideas. You should feel inspired to be a part of a project. You may be rehabbing a house or working on a filming project, a car investment, etc. You should be interested from the moment you learn about it. If a project takes a lot of convincing, 9 times out of 10, you are going to need continuous convincing throughout the process. This will in turn complicate the project and most likely create a dislike or regret of ever committing to the project. Acknowledge your hustler's aggression. Pay attention to yourself and others when you either see it or